Hello everyone, welcome to Xinhua Live. I'm Xinhua correspondent Chen Shenwei. Today is a special day for the city of Nanjing, where the citizens have just observed a minute of silence and sirens were heard across the city as China held its 9th National Memorial Ceremony to mourn its 300,000 victims of the Nanjing massacre. The Nanjing massacre took place when the Japanese troops captured the city on December 13, 1937, and over 6 weeks they killed more than 300,000 Chinese civilians and unarmed soldiers in one of the most barbaric episodes of the World War II. So in 2014, China's top legislature designated December 13th as the China's National Memorial Day for the victims of the Nanjing massacre. And right now, as you could see beside me, a group of students are reciting some excerpts of a book that tells about the story of a German familiar to Nanjing people because of his courage, bravery, and his heroic deeds during his stay in Nanjing when the massacre occurred. So now they are putting the paper pigeons to the statues of the German. So now I'm going to invite one of the students, Mr. Zhang Yangyang, to join us and help us learn more about that history. Hello, Mr. Zhang. I know you are a student of the Nanjing University and majoring in German.
Yeah.
So, and I heard that just now you and your classmates are reading something. And so can you tell us the concrete content, what you have read, and what are you expecting to convey to the world?
Yeah, we've just read some extracts from the diary of John Rabe. Mr. Rabe in these texts recorded the atrocities of Japanese army that he had witnessed during Nanjing massacre. I think as a research team for John Rabe, we want to tell his stories both to Chinese and to foreigners. We hope that more and more people around the world will know more about the history of Nanjing massacre. That's what we want to convey to the world.
So you mentioned the research team just now, and I believe that you have done a lot of work in your research team. So could you tell us what work did you have you done, and what are you expecting to talk to the world?
Yeah, of course. The name of our team is John Rabe's Diary and Peace City. We launched a research project in the summer 2021. From then on, we have visited 6 cities, home and abroad, where Mr. Rabe had lived. And we conducted nearly 40 interviews with people associated with Mr. Rabe, including his grandson, great-grandson, some historians and peace volunteers. And in this year, we developed WeChat programs about John Rabe and Nanjing International Safety Zone. And in middle school and primary schools, we have held more than 30 lectures and activities of peace education.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of meaningful work. And so the last question, what is the aim of this research team?
Yeah. Firstly, I think the story of Mr. Rabe is an important part of the history of Nanjing massacre. So by telling the stories to the public, we want to improve the knowledge of this history. And secondly, I think Mr. Rabe embodied a humanitarian spirit beyond nations and states, which is also expected to convey to all of our audience. And I think looking back on history can make every one of us to realize the value of peace at the present. And I think by telling the stories of John Rabe, we can make everyone realize the value, realize the significance of peace, and make everyone as a part of peace building and peace promotion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's a lot of work the research team has done over the past decades. And today we also have Mr. Yang Shanyou to join us. And Mr. Yang Shanyou is the head of the Nanjing University John Rabe and the International Safety Zone Memorial Hall. So let's have some questions with him. So Mr. Yang, I know you have been working here for quite a few years, and could you tell us what work did you have done here, and what kind of activities this memorial hall will hold every year?
Okay, thank you. John Rabe was born in Hamburg, Germany on November 23rd, 1882. He came to China in 1908. After entering the Siemens office in 1911, he worked in Beijing, Shanghai successfully before arriving at Nanjing in 1931. In 1932, the University of Nanking, a former Nanjing University, built this house according to Rabe's requirement and ran to him. Here was his home, as well as his office. During the Nanjing massacre, over 250,000 Chinese people were saved in this safety zone. As one of the 25 refugee camps, Rabe's residence actually helped over 600 civilians here, and also was the birthplace of the diaries of John Rabe. So it is of great significance if Rabe's residence is possible to be renovated and open to the public as a memorial hall. Since its establishment in 2006, John Rabe's Memorial Hall has received 250,000 visitors, and it's more and more became popular by holding all sorts of activities.
Yeah, I think such a great man, such a hero for the world should be commemorated every year, and that's quite meaningful. So, I believe in this memorial hall there must be stored a lot of pictures and records about John Rabe must be stored here. So let's go inside and have a look.
Okay.
So just now you told me a lot about the heroic deeds he has done, and I could saw on these panels the history of the special history at that time.
Yes.
So could you tell me why was John Rabe so brave as a German to help save a lot of Chinese in that history?
Okay, it's a good question, I think. Actually, before the Japanese captured Nanjing, the then Chinese national government had long since retreated to Hankou or later to Chongqing. All the better of Chinese had fled, and many foreigners has departed as well. But Rabe, however, chose to stay. I think the first reason is his gratitude to the Chinese people. For example, as Rabe said, I've been living in China for 30 years. My kids and grandchildren were born here. I'm happy and successful here. I've been well protected by the Chinese people even during the war. So I also think the second reason is that his compassion for the Chinese people. He also expressed theirs in his diary. I had never been so depressed in his life and during the war.
Yeah, and also I'm wondering, so why, he has a lot of gratitude for Chinese people and has a lot of connection with Chinese. So why was he able to protect Chinese people from being slaughtered?
Yeah, because of he's capable of protecting the Chinese people. Firstly, I think it's because of his Nazi Party membership. John Rabe actually not only as a German, a citizen of a country allied with Japan, but also actually he is the leader of the Nazi Party. And at the same time, I think the chairmanship is also actually very crucial, which played an important role in protecting the Chinese people.
Yeah, so are there any remains or goods that recorded that history about John Rabe's heroic deeds.
Yeah, actually, John Rabe is only a businessman. He's not a soldier. So his only weapon to safeguard the civilians are his armband, the swastika flags, and bomb shelters, etc.
And I could see a lot of reports on the newspaper at that time.
Yeah. It's actually it's the evidence of the Nanjing massacre.
Yeah.
So many visitors pay much attention to these materials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now in that actually showcase we displayed the name list of.
And I could even see the publication of the diaries of John Rabe in Japanese.
Yeah, the diaries John Rabe was published in August 1997 in Chinese version, German, English, and Japanese version. But among of them, the Chinese version is the best of the world.
So you have been working here for a lot of years, and you know a lot about the facts and history of that time. So the last question, can you give us your understanding about John Rabe's spirit, and in your eyes, what does it mean for the world?
Okay. In my opinion, Rabe's spirit is his great love for life and his pursuit of peace. In his diaries, he also expressed the similar meaning. He said, if I had spent 30 years in Japan and were treated as well by the Japanese people, you can be assured that in a time of emergency, such as China faces now, I will not leave the side of the people in Japan. So, in Rabe's eyes, Chinese people, Japanese people, they are the human beings that are deserved to be loved. So it's a very important thought. Now, in this showcase, display the name list of the refugees protected by John Rabe. A total of 32 pages comprising of 622 signatures and fingerprints of the refugees was left.
Yeah, so these are just part of the name list.
Yeah.
So he have saved, you told me the 225,000?
Yeah.
In total.
Yeah, 250. And this, the refugees only protected here at John Rabe's residence. So on the cover, Rabe said, the Rabe's residence hosted 302 men and 300 women, a total of 602 people, including 126 children under the age of 10. So with the 20 refugees on the last page were not included. So I think it's the very crucial evidence to prove the Nanjing massacre is real. It is not made up.
So just as the William Kirby from the History Department of Harvard University said, from Rabe's eyes, we see the dread and the courage of the Nanjing's inhabitants as they confront defenseless the Japanese onslaught. And for me, I think Rabe's diaries not only serve as the evidence of the Nanjing massacre, but also recorded the unyielding spirit of Chinese people in face with the Japanese aggression. And so far, as we know, 7 survivors of the Nanjing massacre have passed away this year, reducing the total number of the registered survivors to only 54. And they are with an average age of more than 92 years old. And these people are the last witnesses of the special history and shall never be forgotten, just as the theme of the National Memorial Day goes. Remember history and cherish peace. That's all for this Xinhua. Thank you.